Welcome back to Geek'd Up Bets. Joe DeLeone, Sean Anderson. Today, we've got plenty to discuss with you. It's our Friday show, meaning we've got the Weekend Parlay. We've also got our random bet of the week, curse prop bets, all that good stuff. But we're always going to be delivering our MLB picks for today. Going to be discussing Fernando Mendoza. Both of us are a little cold on baseball bets, but we're going to bounce back. But here's the thing. Here's Sean, by the way, this is how I know this is going to be a good season. I am 2-0 already on the 3 picks that I gave out for NFL preseason picks. And
wow, I'm so happy for you.
We got some nice viewership and response from that preseason video, predictions preview video that we dropped yesterday. So all positive signs here on the Geek'd Up channel.
All positive signs? I picked an over and a Nats pitcher threw a no-hitter into the 7th inning. So it's kind of tough to hit the over if you got stuff like that happening on this stupid idiot team.
Did your NFL picks? Oh, well, wait, one of them hit, and then the other ones haven't played, correct?
I know, but I wasn't bragging on social media about my NFL preseason heater. It was, you can't
brag about your picks, man. You just gotta learn.
I was stoked, and I stay stoked. I actually am happy because I said the tagline, we were talking about preseason football taglines, we'll watch them so you don't have to. And then you corrected me and said, well, we want people that watch the preseason and bet on the preseason to watch this show. And I think they are. And I think that's our crew. So happy to have them and happy to have that response towards that video.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a nice little positive that made me smirk when I was checking the analytics because we've changed how we did the show and we're going more frequently. And I want to talk about preseason stuff and preview and provide baseless, ridiculous picks that anything can happen in a preseason game. Anyone who tells you there's real analysis for a preseason game, they're lying to you. They're lying to you. We're analyzing it as much as possible, but anything can happen. The dude that you thought was going to go, I also that ties into this. You can almost never find a designated prop for most players. I was trying to find Ty Simpson props to put in the parlay, and I'm like, there aren't any. Nobody knows who's playing. That's the problem. But it's fun to at least have something when you're sitting there at the bar to be like, oh, I bet on the under for this Texans Chargers game because some rube with a hat that says Geek'd on it told me to.
Right.
That's how it works.
I would have liked to have sat with you at a bar last night and get a nice outside drink, but somebody had a family dinner.
Okay, my parents came because my dad and my brother were supposed to come to just kind of take a look at a couple things. I got to replace the washer. Brother works construction. My dad's worked in that realm for enough time, so they take it upon themselves to provide insight on these things. And I should have immediately known that my night was going to go way longer than it was supposed to when we had a 7:30 reservation and my dad's donking around with the washer dryer unit at 7:30. We hadn't even left my apartment yet, so I apologize. I thought you and I were going to be able to sit and watch the games and have a nice, wonderful date night on a Thursday, but that didn't come to fruition. Reminder, everybody, by the way, if you want to hang out with us every single morning and you want to tail the picks that we've got, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on future content. Do us a favor, comment below what you are picking for the preseason for this weekend. Let us know below. Also, do us a favor, go on over to thesportsgeek.com and check out our Beat the Geek contest. And I think one thing people don't realize, just because you sign up for Beat the Geek does not mean you can't win weekly prizes. Weekly prizes if you end up winning the week, but there's that grand prize of getting the NFL trip for 2 at the end of the year. Go sign up. It is free. It is the freest thing that you can do if you think that you are a smart picker of games and spreads. It is, and by the way, I played it first time last year for the first full season when I joined the Sports Geek, and I didn't need to be told twice to keep coming back to play it. It was one of the most fun, easy, simple ways, and I also think it's good for beginners that maybe don't know that much about picking games. It's a really nice intro to learn how to do it. So if you've got a buddy who doesn't know how to do it, maybe your girlfriend wants to get into football. And I know plenty of girls who, girlfriends of their boyfriends that bet on games because they think it's more fun. Get them to play the Beat the Geek contest. And then if you guys win, you can go to a football game together. Also, make sure that, again, you go over to thesportsgeek.com and check that out. All right. Sean, both took a bath yesterday on MLB Bets. Actually, let's start. Let's start on a better note. Actually, okay. We'll start with the MLB picks. Let's just get this out of the way. Let's just get it out of the way before we talk about Mendoza. Dude, I am cold. Could not be colder. So if you want to fade us, if you want to fade me, I fully encourage you to do so. Did not do well yesterday. 2-6 right now on these MLB picks. Doesn't matter. The NFL picks are hitting. That's all that matters to me, as long as I feel good in that regard. I'm going to start things off. We're going to just get back on the wagon until we power through and break through the barrier. Astros, Peter Lambert, over 4.5 strikeouts versus the Mariners. He is 67% in his last 15. He's 60% in his last 5. And the Mariners are 24th in the MLB against pitchers in terms of allowing strikeouts. I'm hoping... My logic is not flawed here, okay? The trends indicate that they are going to, or they should hit, that there's a strong probability of these hitting. And I made the mistake yesterday of getting too cute with it. You just got to keep powering through with your philosophies until they end up hitting and you get back on track. So that's what we're going to do here with Peter Lambert.
Yeah, that's fine. Here's the thing. Your logic is correct, but you keep on picking pitchers that are like Peter Lambert is 51st in total strikeouts this year in the MLB, which doesn't mean that he can't get these strikeouts versus the Mariners. The Mariners are bad. I had to, because guess what, Joe? I know everything about baseball. I don't know anything about Peter Lambert. So when I see that name get pulled, I mean, it's like you're pulling a Patrick Ricard 1 over 0.5 reception prop some days with me in these pitchers. It's
you
fine.
better ask somebody to do that during the regular season, by the way.
you know Harbaugh's going to scheme it up for him. Yeah, that's fine. The Mariners are just got worked over by the Yankees, so they're licking their wounds. My first pick, a pitcher that actually is dominant and gets strikeouts. That's Sandy Alcantara of the Marlins. 6+ strikeouts versus the Reds. He is one of the best pitchers in the MLB. He's one of my favorite pitchers, even though he's on an NL East rival. I don't really like to call the Marlins a rival. I kind of respect the Fish because they play way above their payroll and they have a cheap-ass owner, but they still have Sandy Alcantara, who is one of the best strikeout pitchers in baseball. Also, the Reds, they are worst in the league / lead the league in strikeouts per game as a team batting. 9.52 on average per game. That's unbelievable. So you give me what's the joke? The atomic bomb coughing baby? That's what we got going on right now. That's what it feels like in this prop.
Yeah, I almost took this one, and the trends of his last 10 last 5 games didn't entice me enough, and maybe that's me overthinking it. I should just stick to the guns of. Although the last time I tried to pick against the worst team in the MLB in strikeouts, did not go well. Let's hope that this next one works. Rangers, Kumar Rocker over 4.5 strikeouts versus the A's. A's are not a very good team when it comes to these strikeout props. 21st in the MLB in terms of how they perform opposite of pitchers. He has hit this 4.5 number 100% in the last 5. I am praying that the 6th isn't where the streak ends. I am just, please, Kamar. I need you.
So I like that you're going with the streak, and I think that, Kumar Rocker took like 3 years out of baseball out of the pros after being like the top touted prospect out of Vanderbilt. So, it's the A's. You're going against the A's. I will support it. I will back that pick of yours because the A's kind of are mailing it in right now. My last MLB pick of the day, the Padres moneyline plus 119 versus the Cleveland Guardians. Screw the Guardians. I know they're scrappy. I know they just hang around in seasons that they have no business hanging around in. But the Padres are starting Michael King on the mound. I love Michael King. He's one of my favorite pitchers in the game. And the more that I started calling the Padres frauds in the wild card hunt, the more I started realizing they're probably going to make the playoffs. Even though they're not going to make any noise in the playoffs, they're probably going to make it. And I do think they are better than teams like the Guardians. I do. So even though I loop them in with other, like the Tigers and the Rangers, They are better than those two teams. They will make the postseason, but they'll probably get swept. They will beat the Guardians tonight. They are a better team.
All right. That's it for our MLB picks. Do with them what you want. Although Sean's did really well this week. You can follow Sean. You can fade me. Whatever makes you feel good about yourself this weekend.
What kind of things I have to say to somebody?
What do you mean?
It's a day by. We know. You and I both know this is a day-to-day process here.
But you had a good week. This is the first week we started doing these MLB picks. You are off to the clearer start. I am not. How have you think, if we had been doing this for the past month, do you think that you'd be in the green? Don't act like you're not dialed with this. You came over to my new apartment and you're sitting there. My buddies are all, talking about stupid relationship crap with their girlfriends. Yeah. And you're like, I need, who was the White Sox.
Murakami.
Yeah, Murakami. Yeah. I need Murakami home run. And then we're sitting there and he blasts one. That was more entertaining than listening to my friends talk about their wedding. And you hit that, but that's my point. If we were progressing in the past, if we were doing this the past month, how much in the green do you think you'd be? You'd at least be.
I'd hope to be 10 over. I'd hope to be up 10 units. That's my constant hope for MLB. And currently, I think for the last 2 weeks, I'm close to that number. I'd like to stay around that number. I do not like going 0-2. That is not good because you and I both know nobody loves to spiral more than I do, especially in football season. There will be a month where I spiral and I lose total touch. But right now, I don't want that to happen. I'm going to try to stay above water.
Speaking of touch, Fernando Mendoza made his debut for the Raiders. Mendoza, I think, answered a lot of questions in his preseason debut, Sean. His stat line is not going to blow you away. He was 10 of 16 for 96 yards and a touchdown. But there were a number of throws that were showed exactly the reason why he was the first overall pick. A lot of people talked about, doesn't have the traits. He's not the big, powerful arm. He's not the ridiculous athlete. The reason why he went first overall is because he understood timing better than anybody else. His accuracy was at an elite level, and he was just overall smarter than any prospect that I have evaluated. The one throw that he had, it was in their own territory. I forget the exact timing of it, but there was a window where most people, I think casuals, would look at it and go, he's throwing the ball into triple coverage. It's not triple coverage. He spotted a window where there were three defenders that were far enough apart from one another to where the receiver was, that he knew that he could rip that thing into a tight-ass line and had the aggressiveness and the willingness to do it. Most quarterbacks do not that are rookies. They are timid. They get freaked out. And he drove it into a really small window and completed it.
You are spot on, Joe. I loved this preseason debut from Fernando, stand and deliver Mendoza, which is what he did. He stood and delivered in the pocket. He made good throws. It wasn't the 14 for 14 Dak Prescott preseason debut, but it reminded me of it, where you just saw the control. And you normally with quarterbacks in the preseason, you go out there, you see a Will Howard, you see a Drew Aller, and they're kind of bopping around. They make a couple throws, they miss a couple throws. It kind of feels like the offensive coordinator's in control. Fernando Mendoza looked like he had total autonomy when he was out there, and that was awesome. The touchdown pass on the slant was a touchdown pass you would throw in the regular season. It was exactly where you'd want it to be. Breaking zones in his first live bullets action in the NFL over the middle, love it. I love it. I love this dude. And honest to God, it makes me think differently of the Raiders. It makes me, and I love jumping to conclusions. I will jump to a far conclusion until my knees hurt, but I really genuinely am like getting way more optimistic now that I saw him not go out there and throw a meatball sub pick or go out there.
He's never going to do that. That's not him, and that's what I think has generally been misunderstood about Mendoza. He's not that guy. He's not going to throw the wonky bad pass. I'm sure that he might have one that's not great, but he's very calculated. This dude was going to go to an Ivy League school and then chose to go to Cal. That is why you draft him. He has. I know that it's kind of ridiculous. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to put the words out there of who I was going to compare him to, who some people were comparing him to, a certain quarterback who is a part of the ownership group with the Raiders. Some people were saying that was how he operated mentally, but I'm not going to say it because everybody's going to take it and run with that. It's not a direct comparison. It is more so how he understands the game at a different level. That was what made said owner of the Raiders a really good player. But we're not going to say that. But I do want to talk about some of the other pieces on this team in a second before we move on from Mendoza, though. I'm kind of come to the conclusion that I'm fine if he doesn't end up starting at the beginning of the year. Because if I have the context of this where he's doing this stuff, where he has command and he's got confidence, he's kind of got this goofy swagger to him that I love. Whatever timeline they're on, they're on. This just made me feel, okay, whatever concerns people were trying to fabricate are not real. Like Ryan Roberts tried to build up and state. Dude, do you know how many times Ryan texted me and sent me? And I hope someone sends this to Ryan, and Ryan's gonna be like, "Are you guys talking smack about me on the show?" And I'm like, "Yes, Ryan, we are. We are talking smack about you on the show." Yeah, what do you mean? Why wouldn't we be? Ryan keeps sending me headlines and tweets of like, Kirk Cousins is the starter for the Raiders, and I keep saying to him, that doesn't mean anything. I think that this was a strong indication that he is fully prepared to take over at any point. Whatever the timeline is, I'm not worried, but I do think that there is proof that he can be the week one starter, and you get the value out of him building chemistry with the no-name receivers. Jack Besh, maybe there's something there with the touchdown he threw to him, and Brock Bowers. Let him get onto the field, because that is better for the long-term success of the Raiders. If Giants fans were clamoring for Jackson Dart, who threw one good ball to little Jordan Humphrey in the first preseason game, he didn't look anywhere near as good as what Fernando Mendoza did. I think that Raiders fans need to be banging the table for getting him onto the field.
I noticed something very different between Kirk Cousins and Fernando Mendoza when I watched Fernando Mendoza play. Kirk Cousins can go into a game and make throws based on pure muscle memory and repetition. He's been in the league long enough. I don't think he's processing defenses on the level that Fernando Mendoza is. I think he's got reads that are baked into his brain that just come with experience in the NFL. Fernando Mendoza processes defenses, and the way that he did it in the first preseason game shows you that he is going to be a problem with his brain piece in this league. I think he thinks faster than Kirk Cousins, and I also think Kirk Cousins' arm is weaker and puts the ball in jeopardy way more for no good reason. And I if you want to win games this year, you honestly start Fernando Mendoza. If you want to work around work the project along at your own speed and say this is for the future, we're going to Steven Strasburg this thing. We're going to try to hit it when the time is right. Fine, start Kirk. But you have to acknowledge that is the reason why for me to be in on the move. If you're Las Vegas, if you're saying Kirk Cousins is our clear QB1 or he's our QB1 and we really believe in him, that's the wrong thing to say. That is the wrong thing to say, in my opinion. You have to make it clear that it obviously is Fernando Mendoza's team, but you have to make it clear that we are following a process. That other than that, then it should be Mendoza.
And there also were a lot, I think, positives for young players on this team. Mike Washington ripped off a 53-yard run, which, if we remove that, his yard per carry average isn't great. But that's not why you pick Mike Washington. You pick Mike Washington for the 53-yard run where he starts to separate and pull away. I loved him as a prospect. I thought he was a steal. He's not going to be your primary back. I think that he could be a team's primary back, but his 1-2 punch that he provides to Ginty has the potential to be the Zach Charbonnet to Kenneth Walker. That is totally how I see this going. If anyone
wants a Charbonnet.
What do you mean, Coach? Ginty just had 4 carries to get us down to the one.
Ashton, get a breather.
In all seriousness, though, I think that Washington showed with that run that he's got that explosiveness that we knew from the NFL Combine, where he is like the perfect secondary back for you to create this really dynamic tandem. Ryan also pointed this out to me on that clip when I shared it. He said, look at the left tackle. Charles Grant, former William and Mary offensive lineman, who is showing some positive signs. I don't know when this kid's going to get in the starting lineup. I hope that he does. He was one of the rawest offensive linemen that I evaluated. I spotted this kid before he turned into a draft darling 2 years prior when Ryan and I were working for a scouting agency, and he didn't get signed by the agent that we recommended him to, which was really disappointing and a miss on their part. But he had a nice block where he completely pancaked someone to open up the gigantic lane that set up Washington for the run. There's just a lot of reason to be excited about the up and up with the youth of this Raiders team. I think this is a hot take. I think that Kubiak could have a little bit of a Ben Johnson effect with the Seahawks.
It would be interesting to see, and I like that I like Washington. I like him more than seeing like Amir Abdullah in the Raiders backfield making an impact. I love Amir Abdullah, by the way. He made one of the best college football players I've ever seen, but time to hand over the sticks, man. If Washington's going to be that guy and the Raiders want to be dangerous, that's how you do it. And you have him be a home run hitter, and you let Genty get his plus 10-yard, plus 20-yard chunks time at a time by. What am I trying to say? Piece by piece. That's what I want to say there. But yeah, I'm pretty optimistic on the Raiders following their Week 1 game.
All right. Weekend parlay. To close things out here, we've got our picks for the weekend. Here are my 3 legs. I'm actually taking the parlay seriously this week. Here's what I've got. Gonna go.
Yeah,
this is a bad
I was wondering
sign.
if this was a new prospect or not. You're taking it seriously. Go ahead.
This is a bad
talk
sign.
About the player
Alex
that
Bregman.
Oh yeah.
Alex Bregman. Alex Bregman over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. 7-3 against the Cardinals in the last 10 games. So positive sign there. Minus 120. Panthers over 120.5 rushing yards at minus 114. I saw enough of Haynes King. I'm going to be, and this is why what I said at the beginning of the show, it is a bit of a crapshoot when you're doing these picks for the preseason. Why do I feel like Haynes King's not going to see the field? That they're like, oh, we got enough of Haynes King. He's not going to. Yeah. He's not. We don't need to put him out there. I'm going to take 120.5 rushing yards at minus 114, and I'm going to go Chiefs minus 2.5 at minus 110. They have a lot of young players that they need to get onto the field. The Rams do not. Rams are a very old team, and I expect that they're probably not going to play practically all of the key contributors on this roster. So give me the Chiefs minus 2.5 at minus 110.
I don't mind it, Joe. I am going to go with the Los Angeles Dodgers giving 1.5 to the Brewers. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is on the mound.
Thing?
No, it is not. It is a Bregman
bit. Banjo is
terrible. Yeah.
Oh, they're supposed to do that with the C words, not the just any word, whatever. I'm a moron.
Yeah. What was that movie, Dope, where there's no need. Broncos money line over the Falcons, minus 205. Let's just put a nice winner in the parlay. They're going to destroy Atlanta. And the Seahawks minus 155 money line versus the Dallas Cowboys. So yeah, we got some football going. I like this. I like having football in the parlay, Joe. It feels better.
It does feel good, and you have a reason to be excited about these games this weekend when you're sitting there with your buddies. Get your buddies to tail us. Get your buddies to come in there, and then you can come into the show on Monday and you can yell at us. You wasted our $5 that was going to pay for one beer for one of us. You completely ruined our weekend. Or do the opposite. We paid for your bucket, whatever it ends up being. Our random bet of the week. I'm going to go with New York Atlas in I think it's the NLL? Whatever the Major League Lacrosse League is. I'm going to go New York Atlas, hometown team against Philly. Money line plus 190.
Sure. I'm sure it's still the fastest growing sport in America. My random bet of the week, I saw this pop up today on a tab, and I saw Academy Awards futures, and I am taking Dune Messiah future to win Best Picture at plus 500. Screw the Odyssey.
Wait,
the Odyssey is the odds.
Read this.
Yeah. The Odyssey is the odds-on favorite at minus 165. Give me Dune Messiah. Give me the number 2, and making it a long shot too. I'm so sure Damon acted laps around Chalamet. No shot in hell. This is going to be a culminating picture. I know it's supposed to be random bet of the week, but I am kind of taking this one seriously. Give me the odds on it. I love the odds.
Did you actually wait? So a book offered this?
Yes.
You found this?
Yes.
That is awesome,
dude. It's got a
a good poll.
Yeah, I'm all over it, man.
I love that. All right, we have a phone call. As we said every single week, if you think you can beat the Geek in the Beat the Geek contest, go on over to thesportsgeek.com. If you don't know who the Geek is, he calls into our show as often as we give out picks. And he's kind of mean. He thinks that he's better than you. And I'm not even joking. He talks down to us every single time because he thinks his picks are better. He thinks he's smarter. He's more dialed than you because he's got his whole AI mind that allows to look him at everything on a different field. Not everything's numbers, buddy, but he's got a call for us. If you think you're better than him, Go and sign up for the Beat the Geek contest for this NFL season at thesportsgeek.com. All right, here we go.
Geekbot is back with an actual question for Joe. Last night, the Twins and Phillies played in the Field of Dreams game. Geekbot wants to know if you have seen Field of Dreams, if you watched any of that game or are aware of it. And I know it sounds like a pun because of the cornfield in the outfield, but is the Field of Dreams game corny? Sean is too in the weeds emotionally in baseball to say that it is, but he has people in his life trying to tell him that the special event is corny. Giants to win straight up versus the Rockies tonight.
Someone told you that the event was corny?
I've been getting lit up for the last freaking 12 hours about, Sean's got to be in love with the Field of Dreams game, or Sean thinks that this thing's so cool. And whenever I try to defend it in a rational way, which is like, yeah, I'm a baseball guy. I think the Field of Dreams game is cool. I start getting the Randy Marsh meme. You know, the one where he's sitting in front of a computer and he's kind of laid out like that. And that's, the one. I'm getting just torn up over this Field of Dreams game by a bunch of guys that quit baseball early. So I needed to know, outside of like my circle here, or I guess the Geekbot needed to know rather, if you think the Field of Dreams baseball event is corny.
No, I don't. Excuse me. I don't think that it is. I think it's one of the cooler things. I didn't watch it because it was focused on the
Thank you.
NFL preseason stuff.
Likewise. I was watching preseason, but it's
why would they put it
not
on a Thursday of the preseason? Why would they have done that? Why was that not in July?
Because you should be able to butt up the Field of Dreams game against the NFL preseason and be okay in this country.
Okay, I get that, but if you wanted to make it more of a premier event, the scheduling in the MLB is atrociously bad.
It should have been Wednesday.
It just should have been in when there's nothing going on. It should have been immediately after the World Cup. It should have been that week. No, I like it. I think that the NFL doesn't need to do stuff like that, but they should. I think it'd be really fun if they played a game at the first ever location for when Rutgers played Princeton. Like, I think that they should play an NFL game at like a college stadium, at the Big House, or at Kyle Field. That I don't know why there isn't a desire to connect with the roots of the sport in the NFL more. It's so corporate that they don't.
Well, because we have to play in Sydney, Australia, and Berlin, and Mexico City and Brazil. That's why.
Yeah, those are more important. I have seen Field of Dreams. I did watch. I put on the other day. I was trying to put on the pregame for whatever baseball game was on TBS, and that was on before it. And then for some reason, it didn't go to the game. It just kept playing the movie. So I was like, okay, I guess that this is going. It was 30 minutes of being on, and while I was working, I looked over. I'm like, why is this still on? So I recently watched some of it. I wasn't listening to it because the audio wasn't on, but it was on in the background. All right, well, thank you for calling in. Go on over to thesportsgeek.com to sign up for the Beat the Geek contest. All right, Sean, closing us out here. Curse prop bets, where you and I make up a prop bet for something that is not really a prop bet-able thing. Here's what I got for you. I've got a story headline to read for you. Clavicular is shooting his shot at Representative
Why not?
Alexandria AOC. I don't know how to say her last name.
Ocasio-Cortez.
Ocasio-Cortez, wasting little time after news broke that AOC and her longtime fiance, Riley Roberts, not Ryan Roberts, calls it quits. The viral streamer took to social media to react to our ex post about the split, posting a simple message, "I can fix her." Clav, I didn't know that was an abbreviation for him, also made similar comments on his live stream saying he would marry AOC and ripping her ex. The flirty comments come after Clavicular and AOC already crossed paths earlier in the summer when TMZ DC and asked her about the influencer's viral look-smacking movement. AOC said at the time she wasn't interested in piling on Clavicular personally, but was more concerned about the message the trend could be sending to young men, adding that, okay, this is not important, plus 10,000 odds that we get like a Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift type of a romance brewing where everyone acts like it's not there, and then out of nowhere, there's rumors that they're dating. What are the chances here?
I think I can get better odds than that. I would move that line to 5,000, honestly. Clav's a handsome guy. You know, he's also very popular, and you got to remember, politicians need as much outreach as they can get. And if that guy's got 50,000 or 100,000, I don't know his numbers. If he's got a bunch of concurrent people tuning into his stream, and because she could possibly be involved, not even dating or married or hooking up or whatever, involved with clavicular, maybe that's more votes for AOC. I could honestly see them making a strategy out of that where it's like AOC and Clav caught at dinner. AOC Moggs clavicular at fundraiser or something like that. Like I could see this all getting super politicified. But yeah, you know what? Good for them both. You know what? Yeah, that's that. I'm gonna leave it at that there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. What's your curse prop bet before we get out of here?
My curse prop bet. Jaden Daniels gets his Heisman replica back from LSU at plus 250 after being a big baby about everything, but also somewhat being vindicated by an LSU unwritten rule of jersey retirement for Heisman winners and so on and so forth. Does Jaden Daniels get his Heisman replica back after being denied initially by the school?
I think they're going to send it back to him. I think that this is getting ugly. I think they're going to send it back to him and say that we're not doing this. If you really want to remove every association with us, then screw it. Here's your stupid trophy back. Here's the thing. I side with Daniels. I think that it is a bit extreme to kind of come to these levels of like the whole lawyer thing and all that stuff and making it as public as it is. Mm-hmm. But here's the problem is that they didn't retire Joe Burrow's jersey, but there has not been a player to wear number 9 since 2019.
Right.
You can't do that for Jaden Daniels, who didn't win a national championship, was on a much worse team, not his fault. You can't do that for Joe Burrow and then just say, who cares? It's just Jaden Daniels had one of the most memorable seasons in college football history. It was a 9-4 season, but statistically, he had one of the best seasons for a quarterback as a runner and as a passer. I think that it is a pretty big slap in the face. I think you're going to give it back to him. I think that this is getting ugly because neither side is conceding. I see Jaden's point. I see LSU's point to a degree, but it kind of feels really chippy from the LSU side to think, you think you're Joe Burrow? Why would we? It's pretty disrespectful to do that to a guy who won a Heisman for you. And it was it really has been the most relevant thing for your program since 2019. He's the only good thing that has happened for your program since that national championship.
They had 4 losses that year?
They were 9-4.
Oh.
They were bad. They were not good.
LSU's a total circus. This whole thing is a circus. 4 losses? Maybe I'll let another guy wear 5.
The problem is DJ Pickett's good. This would have been a really funny bit if it was like a kicker. It was like a walk-on kicker.
What if it was Nussmeier switches over to 5 from 14 to 5? That would have been awesome.
or if it was I know the baby Nussmeier's committed to Georgia right now, but if he just randomly committed to LSU and he came, I wish we had a 2-star offensive lineman or a 2-star defensive tackle that was wearing number 5, not an offensive lineman, a 2-star defensive tackle that was rocking the number 5 jersey.
Yeah.
That would be absolutely hilarious if that was what this dilemma was over. And he never gets media availability. He's just randomly getting called over. It's like, hey, Tom, can you come hop over here? We got to talk to you about this. And it's like, I just picked the jersey because no one else was wearing it. But it's because it's DJ Pickett. It's a little different. It gets a little bit more divisive because he is talented.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Guess.
All right, everybody. That's going to be it from us. Go over, sign up for the sportsgeek.com's Beat the Geek contest. Hit the like button on this video. Subscribe. We'll talk to you later.